You know, what a time to be alive. I mean, Kingdom? Really? We were a lot of fans that thought we will never, ever gonna get an English physical release of that series. And yet, here we are. This, a couple weeks back, announced they're gonna release Kingdom. And not only are they gonna release Kingdom, but they are gonna release Kingdom in singles. And it looks like we're gonna get one volume each month. This means like we're gonna take 5-6 years for us to catch up, but that's not the point. That's not the point. It did get me thinking though. This has yet to realize the floodgate they just opened. Because if they will actually release such a long-running, highly regarded manga to the West, how about the rest? I actually thought about it, and I came up with a list of 5 mangas I really wished will get a physical English release. I'm gonna start with mangas series that I haven't read, mostly because I would really want to do it in the physical format for the first time, and then some others that I have actually read online on some means. But I just enjoy them that much that I also really hope that we're gonna get a physical release of it. But let's not stall anymore. And the first manga we're gonna talk about is Billy Bat. In case you do not know, Billy Bat is, among other things, co-created and drawn by Naoki Urasawa of Monster and 20th Century Boys fame. And it is regarded as one of, if not his most famous and incredible work. It's insane. Considering I haven't read it yet, it says a lot. But essentially have this comic artist Kevin who comes to Japan to get permission from the original creator of Billy Bat to use Billy Bat's likeness in his comics. But when he arrives in Japan, he gets enthralled into some murders, mysteries and prophecies that all lead back to the image of Billy Bat in some form or fashion. And now shit happens. Kinda like what it does in Monster at least. Now just that premise alone, and I didn't justify it at all, but that premise alone got me hooked. And considering that people actually think this might be his best work ever, I mean holy shit. And it's not even that long, it's only 20 volumes, which in my eyes makes it a feasible feat for probably this to actually release. Because, mind you, Monster is 18 volumes. 20th Century Boys is 22, and then you have 2 volumes of the epilogue. So it is doable, and if they were gonna release it, it will probably be in a perfect edition. So this, I am begging you. Let's get the Billy Bat out, shall we? But again, I haven't read it, so I do not know that much about it, only that it is highly regarded. So let's jump on to a different series I also know fuck all of, and that is Holy Land by Koji Mori, who, in case you do not know, was he still lives, is the best friend of the late Kentaro Miura and is also the man who oversees the continuation of Berserk. And his manga, Holy Land, is also regarded as, I'm not sure of a masterpiece, but at least it is highly regarded. Now it's very limited what I know about Holy Land, but what I do know is that there is this main character called Yu, who is a high schooler who often gets bullied, but he finds solace in street fighting. So he starts training himself and becomes a vigilante called Dog Hunter, which is it's kind of a weird name, but I guess it works. He then starts to actually fight bullies on the street, which is one way to deal with that issue you have personally, but I digress. But anywho, he slowly dives deeper into the violent underground world, and he must confront a darkness within him and find out what true strength means. Yes, I'm reading off of this because I know that little about Holy Land. And it is only 18 volumes, which again could be in perfect editions. Now, Holy Land was actually released by Kodansha, so would make more sense if Kodansha did a release of that. But then again, they could just do what they did with Vinland Saga. 2-in-1, hardcover omnibus, just bang, 9 out, and that will be it. I hope it, because I have heard so many great things about Holy Land. And again, I've put it off to actually reading it because it is completed. It would be nice to read it physically. But that is series that I have yet to read, that I don't really know anything about. So how about we name 3 series that I've actually read and have a strong opinion on. Or at least I do have an opinion. I won't say strong, I have. Anyway, first one, and this is a giant, a legend, called Baki. I mean, it has more names because essentially there is 6 parts. And they have weird names. Baki is a legendary series that has over 140 volumes. Just think about that. 140 volumes is absolutely insane. But it does that. It has, like, it has been running for, I think it's 30 plus years or something. Maybe more. It doesn't really matter. In case you do not know, Baki is a martial arts / Street Fighter series. It is brutal, it is violent, it is vicious, and it is awesome. It is a walking meme in book format. It is insane. You have this young kid called Hanma Baki, who is the son of the strongest creature in the world, Yujiro. And Baki really wants to beat the ever-living shit out of his father. So to do so, he knows he needs to get stronger. So he takes part in these underground fighting tournaments and battles and just go ham on beating up these giant fucking opponents in the most brutal way possible. It is insane, it is awesome, and it is... If you just imagine the weirdness of JoJo Bizarre Adventure, but focusing it entirely into martial arts, you will have Baki. It will not be for everyone, but holy hell, this is awesome. And 150 plus volumes is a tall order for a new series to adapt. I mean, you're taking a huge risk, but the good thing is that it is divided into 6, I believe, current parts. The longest one is the first part with 42 volumes and such, so it's kind of like Dragon Ball. But whoever will end up publishing it will only have to commit to 1 part at a time. And then if it is successful, release the next one. Now, another not so much legendary series, but an awesome series is Tenkaichi, which is kinda in the same vein as Record of Ragnarok. It has, as of this recording, 10 volumes out and is produced, or at least published, by Kodansha. So again, it will probably be those guys. But Tenkaichi is essentially just these historical fighters who is going to fight in a tournament, but unlike Record of Ragnarok, where it's just 13 one-on-one battles, and then whoever gets most wins, will win. And here it is an actual tournament where you have rounds of elimination, and then at the end you will have a final, and that will be it. But it is these greatest Japanese historical warriors, mostly, who's gonna duke it out and trying to kill each other. And the art is stupidly insane. It is, I will actually say, it is on the same level as One Punch Man, if you're thinking sleekness and just how refined the art actually is, unlike Berserk, where the art isn't refined. It has a lot of raw emotions, and I'm not here talking about art. Nevertheless, Tenkaichi is one of the most impressive and beautiful mangas I have actually read, but it's also just pure hype because the fights are amazing. A relatively new series, so it won't be that big of a commitment or risk for Kodansha to release it, and it is getting a lot of popularity, especially on Reddit, which, I mean, I don't know if it is a valid statistical resource to pull from, but there's that. But yes, Tenkaichi, please. But I am saving the absolute best for last, because let me tell you this. This next series, of all of the series I've presented to you today, this next one is the one I'm hoping for the most. But just like with Baki, it is also stupidly long. However, Kingdom, as far as I believe, is 80 plus volumes. That's a commitment, especially when you are releasing it in single format. So 143 as of this moment volumes. It's not that much more. I mean 63, but still, it's not that much more. I am talking about the absolute goated sports series, Hajime no Ippo. I mean, if you are knowledgeable in the manga world just a tiny bit, you need no introduction into Hajime no Ippo. But in case you do not know, here's a quick rundown. Essentially, you have Makonochi Ippo, I think it's called. Anyway, you have the main character Ippo, who is, of course, a high schooler who gets bullied a lot. And then he finds solace, comfort, welcomeness in the world of boxing. He finds meaning here. And he will then spend the rest of the series of these 1400 plus ongoing chapters to see if he can find what it means to be strong. That's what motivates him. And then he starts training boxing. He gets his pro license. He gets to beat the shit out of opponents. And he gets to try and fight for the national featherweight belt. And who knows, maybe there will be some world rankings he needs to conquer to get the world title belt later on. I'm not going to spoil anything, but that is it. That is essentially the premise of Hajime no Ippo. There's a lot more in it. It does a lot of focus on the time spent between matches, both building up Ippo when he needs to do some new training methods because he needs to build up a weakness against an opponent he's going to face. It builds up the opponent's side of the things, so it makes you much more conflicted when you're actually reading the fights. And it does a lot for the personal, the personal development of Ippo himself and all the characters. If there's any manga, as I stated, that in the freaking world I would love the most to get a physical English release, it would be that. Everything else would be awesome, but more than anything, do that first. It is legendary for a reason, and it's by many regarded as the best sportsman series ever, even beating out Slam Dunk, which is saying something. I mean, not everyone's gonna agree on it, but just the fact that it's in the conversation about it, it says a lot. But that is my top 5 picks of mangas that we have yet to get an English release from. But who knows? Again, since Kingdom has gotten a release, and if it does well, even though it starts dropping in November of all, such a long time. But if it does well, maybe more of the other publishers or this itself would start trying to take more risk on other series that are longer but well loved in the community. Just fingers crossed. It would be awesome. There's even something going around that Holy Land, maybe Billy Bat will get his announcement this year, but it's just speculation. But it's fun to speculate. But what I want you to actually tell me in the comments down below is, which 5 series do you most want to get an English physical release? Because I am sure I overlook something. Because it's difficult. It's really difficult. You have read a lot of series throughout your time, and you might have forgotten that, holy hell, it actually doesn't have an English release. I had to do research. Does this have an English release? It actually does. Picking it out. How about this one? It actually also does. Moving off the list. So it was actually kind of difficult to present this top 5 list there, but that's how it is. But yes, I'm looking very much forward to see your list. And also, until I see you in the next video, just remember to stay awesome. See ya.